Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is your ghost from beyond, the Ghost Scientist, as we continue our journey of discovery, preparing for the true disclosure project that you, the public, deserve. Now, before I begin this video presentation, which will begin your new journey of discovery down the twists and turns that make up this not so strange, not so secretive world we all find ourselves in, it seems that my good friend and brother who was killed by this government has long since been forgotten. The man, the father, the legend, and author of Behold a Pale Horse, the original truth speaker, William Milton Cooper. I've long stayed behind the curtain of secrecy, that being radio, whether terrestrial or across countless CT websites as a host interviewer of their programs. Due to my governmental professional background and for the continued safety of my family and friends, I've always remained the ghost in the machine. With a career spanning over 28 years working in some capacity for and with government agencies across many different operations, I was introduced through a contact within the CT community to Milton around 1993 after an operation in Iraq where I was exposed to the cover-up that was working in the shadows to keep the gray agenda under wraps from the public. Becoming a government whistleblower on Project Calypso, many other clandestine operations around 2002 on ATS above top secret. This was after the murder of my friend in 2001, who was no longer capable of putting the information out to the public, which was devastating to say the least, as he and I had been in many conversations through backdoor channels using MIRC roughly starting around 1996, leading up to the incident that took place in November of 2001. He was well aware of the sensitive nature of our conversations in which I was relaying information to Milton how the U.S. government, through DNI, Department of Naval Intelligence, had been using him for years to mislead and distract the public away from the real operations that were taking place around the world, due to his real involvement and career credentials by supplying handlers with inside of the CT community that were feeding Milton his research materials. To this day, I still remain steadfast in the belief that this is the real reason they needed to take Milton off the chessboard. After he had made several comments to include comments during his last authorized interview, I will be setting the record straight and stating that he could and would be writing a new book in which he would be revealing what he had learned over the course of the conversations with not only myself, but several individuals I had put him in contact with over several years and their contacts leading up to the events at his home. It is important to understand that 90% or more of the individuals within the CT community are there as a trap system put in place by the government itself and agencies in order to track down and silence real insiders trying to inform the public of their dark operations around the world. There was a plan in place to expose all of them, with Milton being the individual outing these shills, naysayers with direct documentation to prove his statements protecting him from libel. This, in my belief, was the true purposes of outright blatant murder at the hands of cowards. So the question now is, where does this lead us? As there are no longer real speakers of the truth within the CT community, with the majority of them placed there like gatekeepers to stop any real information from making its way into the hands of the general public. Milton had always felt that even though he was invested emotionally in delivering the truth to the people during his radio broadcasts and lectures, that he was speaking to a sounding board, meaning delivering the truth to those that were already in the know, or at least had stepped their big toe into the water. He wanted desperately to reach the uninitiated general public so they could be educated and informed about the true reality we live in and the world around us. Hence his love of writing and publishing many books throughout his life. It has begun, people. The operation he and I and many others had warned you about across multiple platforms throughout the years is now happening right before your very eyes. And you, the general public, can no longer stick your heads in the sand and claim you do not know what we are talking about. Being able to discount most, if not all, of the information that is presented for your well being and safety of all those individuals you love and care for. The danger is real, people, and it is at your doorstep. It is not some alien agenda program or some mystical attack by other outwardly beings. It is your government itself. It has been developing these plans for years and years, and they are now speeding up this timeline, and what is to come is only going to get much, much worse. I cannot help you help yourself. All I can do is try and present what has been said behind closed doors and far from the scrutiny of the public. The time is nigh, people. There has never been a time in your entire life up to this point in order to get informed and try the best you can to inform others. At this point, there is no way to stop what is to come. Unfortunately, that window disappeared years ago. But it is, however, important for you to be aware of the advanced nature of this clandestine operation that is now sitting at your doorstep. Will you take the initiative and be your brothers and sisters' keeper, I ask you? The only way, ladies and gentlemen and listeners, is to help share the information far and wide. The more the people of the public are made aware of their plans for us all, is to care enough to spread the message now. Not later, now. Because unfortunately, folks, tomorrow, it may be too late. That is not a fear campaign, that is a fact. You cannot wake up everyone. That is never going to happen. But at least when you are standing and waiting for judgment in front of whatever great power you may or may not believe in, at least you will know you did your best to help your fellow brothers and sisters on this planet. Again, I have nothing to sell you, nothing to gain from all of this outside my own well-being and knowing I at least tried to inform those that need the message. I have new nutrients to sell you, no supplements, no hats, no cups, no shirts, or any merchandise whatsoever. I have no Patreon, PayPal, Cash App, or any way ask you, the listener, for anything at all outside of an open heart, mind, and spirit. What is to be gained in this delivery to you, the listener, is not something you can offer me in this world, nor are you the one to offer it. In closing, may the great mystery bless and keep you all safe. May we learn to be the rainbow family we were meant to be, none above any. May you learn to walk in balance with each setting sun. This has been the Ghost Scientist, and as always, people, good journey.